guys, welcome back to the channel. So today's video is going to be kind of short, just in the middle of a work day here, but I really wanted to try to get on and been putting this off for a number of days. And a fellow member, Sloop John H, is having a contest. So today's video is going to be a contest reply to Sloop John H's 100 subscribers contest. And I just had a quick look. And John, it seems like your contest is doing very, very well because you have now exceeded 160, I think it was 165 or something like that, subscriptions. So congratulations on, first of all, reaching 100. I think you started this contest about 2 weeks ago. And in those 2 weeks since you started the contest, you've gained, close to doubling your subscribers. So it's going very well. And you certainly don't need my endorsement, but I would say that your channel is quite good. You're still pretty new to the vinyl community as far as making videos go. But from what I've seen of your channel, it's very entertaining. It's enlightening. You're a big fan of classic rock for the most part, but you kind of sprinkle in a few things of modern nature. I noticed you did a Jack Johnson video, and he's pretty cool. So I'll have to have a look at that. And if I recall, John, you were when you entered my contest here for my 500 subscribers contest a few months ago, you had mentioned to me, or maybe it was in the video, or perhaps it was a comment, that I was the first channel that you subscribed to, so, or one of the very first ones anyway. So I'm honored for that, and certainly wanted to pay it forward, as they say, and make sure that I enter your contest because you entered mine, and to acknowledge that I am keeping up with your channel and have enjoyed what I've seen. You were a little bit critical of new music on one of your videos, so I kind of put in my 2 cents about new music, and I always will continue to do that because so many people are trapped in the assumption that what you hear on the pop charts is what new music sounds like, and that couldn't be further from the truth. As I said in my comment to you and whoever else is listening, just avoid the pop charts. You mentioned artists like Taylor Swift and a few others like that. It's like, I don't buy that kind of music, and I'm not particularly interested in it, but I have hundreds, if not thousands, of new artists that I try to feature on my channel that I would consider every bit as good as classic rock, or, certainly on their way to becoming an artist that's going to be around for a long time. So never give up, never stop trying to explore new music. And as I said, you do dabble in that. You like Jack Johnson, you mentioned Nora Jones, and a few others that you do like. So there's hope, and I will always continue to press for that. So anyway, on to your contest. Again, congratulations. It's a great milestone for you, and many more to come, I'm sure. You've asked us to reply to 5 separate questions here, and I've got them written down on a piece of paper, and I don't have too much other to show you other than just to talk, so I'm just going to wing this, really. First question you ask is, what kind of music or / records did your parents listen to? Well, my parents were big music fans, no doubt about that, and of course that inspired me to listen to music for a long, long time. And they have an eclectic taste. I can remember being very young, and my parents, this was probably in the early 70s, where they were listening to typical early 70s type of music. They had things like Engelbert Humperdinck and Tom Jones and the Carpenters and, things of that nature. Who else comes to mind, perhaps? Helen Reddy. My mom used to really like Helen Reddy and Neil Diamond and Barry Manilow and things like that. Typical early 70s AM radio kind of stuff. But as the 70s progressed and into the 80s, both my parents did move forward with music. I remember both of them loving Fleetwood Mac and the Eagles and ELO and Paul McCartney and Wings and all the things I love today. Can't say I'm a fan of that early stuff. I do appreciate Neil Diamond. I think he's been a great contributor to music for a long, long time. But as far as like Helen Reddy and Tom Jones and Engelbert Humperdinck, that's probably for an era gone by that most people probably had no interest in. Connie Francis, all that really old schmaltzy 50s, 60s kind of AM radio junk, I would say I have no interest in whatsoever. But when it comes to early 70s rock through, and 60s rock too, of course, I love the Beatles. It wasn't all schmaltzy kind of AM junk, but you know, I'm just trying to think of unusual things that they liked. But as I was about to say, as my parents progressed with music, and my dad in particular, all through the 80s, he was kind of a hip dad. You know, he would follow a lot of the stuff I liked in the 80s. He liked Eurythmics and Duran Duran and Tears for Fears and all the things. In fact, he would drag me to concerts to see these people. We went to see Eurythmics and Howard Jones at Red Rocks the first time together. And we saw Frankie Goes to Hollywood, and he liked Berlin and Thompson Twins and stuff like that. So my dad was pretty hip for a guy in his 50s at that time. So I was happy, you know, I was just a young teenager, so I was thrilled that he would take me to those types of artists and concerts, because I certainly couldn't have gone on my own at that young of an age. You know, and I remember even in his later years, you know, he was always staying pretty current with music. So I think my dad was probably the better listener in the long run than my mom, but that gives you a bit of an example of some of the things that they liked, and hopefully that's what you were looking for. Name a record you're wanting to be reissued. Well, there's a lot of records I wish would be reissued. In fact, I guess I will just say one that just came up today. I had on pre-order was a Prince album, as you can see, my Prince box set, my homemade box set's behind me. I had pre-ordered the Black Album. I have a copy, a bootleg copy of the Black Album, but I wanted an original copy of the Black Album. Amazon had it up for pre-order for some time, and my order got canceled, and I just saw an article online that Warner Brothers has scrapped plans to release the Black Album again on vinyl, which I think is a major mistake, because that was the #1 pre-order out of his catalog, and a lot of people want that don't have it. You know, you can always find older copies of Purple Rain in 1999, and most of his back catalog is fairly accessible. There's some exceptions, but the Black Album is highly sought after. Maybe they have something special planned for it later on, but for now I was very disappointed that they canceled that, so I guess that would top my list at the minute of things I wish would be reissued. I'm looking behind me out of the corner of my eye. I'm seeing my Tom Petty CD sitting there. You know, he's got about 4 albums I wish would be reissued as well. Wildflowers and She's the One. I'm going by memory here. I'm not off the top of my head. You know, there's 4 albums that are a Highway Companion, you know, that are very, very difficult to get on vinyl and go for a big price tag. So I'd like to be complete on Tom Petty on vinyl. I have all his other stuff, but there's those 4 records that are virtually impossible to get unless you're willing to shell out, you know, over $200 for them, and I just won't do that. So anyway, those are a couple of examples of things I wish would get reissued. Best blind buy. Well, I do a lot of blind buying, and I think I show that throughout my videos. You know, I do a lot of artists you should know. I certainly didn't know them very well, or if at all, when I took a chance. So I think on that one, you would just simply have to go through any one of my artists you should know videos, and you could easily find blind buys, stuff that I had no recollection of, things that people have recommended to me that I didn't even bother to listen to, that I just said, okay, I trust you and I'll try it. You know, one that comes to mind is Asbjorn. You know, Asbjorn, I had no idea what he would really sound like. That was a blind buy. I take chances all the time, John, so you don't have to look very far at all to find something that I have taken a chance on. So I didn't pull anything out, but that goes way back. I can remember a band called The Blessing in the 90s, early 90s. I just liked the album cover. I thought it was really cool. It's called Prince of the Deep Water. I should have pulled it out, but I didn't. But that's a really super album, and that led to a 15-year obsession with a guy named William Topley. That was one of the better blind buys I've ever purchased. The Blessing, Prince of the Deep Water. They had a couple albums, then he went solo. They've kind of maybe reconnected once or twice, but never really officially called themselves The Blessing again. But William Topley is a wonderful artist. He was on Lost Highway Records, and this goes back a ways now. But he's got some really good solo albums, so I would recommend that to anybody who likes that kind of country singer-songwriter kind of vibe. Favorite place to buy vinyl? Well, that's difficult because I do buy a lot online, I can't lie. Between Amazon and eBay and Discogs and direct from the artist, I buy a lot of stuff online, but I'm very lucky to live in Austin, Texas, where buying records is very, very easy because we have no fewer than probably 5 or 6 really solid, excellent record stores. So Waterloo Records is probably the most famous one, probably the best for selection. They've got just about everything you could ever want there. Let's see, Veneer is another great record store here in town. Fantastic. They focus a little bit more on obscure things, and you can pick up some imports and stuff like that. We've got Piranha Records right here in Round Rock, which is getting better all the time. They used to just kind of dabble in new music, and now they've got 2 full rows of vinyl records that are in the new section. So I'm very, very lucky that I live in a town where it's quite simple to buy vinyl records. But I do purchase a lot online because it's easy, and of course you can't go wrong with selections. And of course I really don't do eBay very often. I try to avoid that. I don't like to get into the bidding thing. I know that some people get a real thrill for winning a bid, but to me it's just a nuisance, and if it's not a buy it now, I generally don't even participate. But there are exceptions that I'll try once in a while, but that to me just annoys me, so I'd rather just see the price and end it. And then finally, your last question is show an import record. Well, I forgot to pull it out, so I'm going to have to go off frame here for a second and see if I can find something. Let's see here, I'll pull this out, because this one I just recently got. Let me show the other one real quick. Give you a little bit better example. Hang on. Yeah, here it is. I've got a lot of imports, John, and sorry I had to go off frame there for a minute. I wasn't that prepared for this video, but this one I just knew because it was probably the most recent one I got. This is a Japanese import from an artist named Cornelius. His real name is Kiego Oyamada, and he's an electronic kind of improvising, does a lot of comical songs really, but it's more of an experimental avant-garde kind of electronic, but he's also got a bit of a heavy side to him with some great guitar work and stuff too. So this is an import record from Japan. In fact, all of the notes and liner notes and everything else is in Japanese. So I have a lot of imports, and had I been more prepared and had a little bit more time, I probably would have pulled out a few others. But if you are curious about anything, just ask me questions and I'd be happy to share more imports with you. So anyway, I wanted to keep this under 10 minutes. I've gone 12, so I think I've answered all your 5 questions. Congratulations again, John, on your 100 subs. You're now closer to 200 than you are 100, so it seems a little outdated to say 100 subs, but you're well on your way to growing your channel, and I think the first 100 are probably the hardest, and it's going to be a lot easier from here on out. So keep up the good work. Thanks for listening in, and I'll hope for one of your prizes. You're giving away 2 prizes here, $25 Amazon gift card, I guess, or $15 Amazon gift card. So we'll hope for the best, and good luck to everyone, and thanks for listening. We'll see you real soon, and bye for now.